Alright gang, welcome back to our one-tile challenge here in Calmlands. It is now May. It's 9:11 in the morning, slightly later start, but I've been doing some stuff off camera, just getting things prepped, ready to go. Right now we're bringing up a load of silage up here. Now the price is not that big of a difference between our little selling station, our little market, and the animal dealer, but we have to come up here anyway because we need to buy a pallet of fertilizer. Today, I would like to get some grass in the ground. And we really don't have enough fertilizer, I do not think, to put down on the ground with what's in the actual seeder right now. So we need to get some more fertilizer, so I might as well kill two birds with one stone, bring up a load of silage while we're up here anyway, and get a few extra dollars. It's probably going to be a handful, $4, $5, $6 extra up here. So $1,027. I'll take that. Let's buy a pallet of fertilizer, which is going to be expensive. It's going to be more than that $1,000 we just made. I'm going to do the liftable, even though we really aren't utilizing liftable here at all. Just in case, I'm going to do that. We'll just buy one for now. Puts us down to 9,563. Now, what have I been doing off camera? Well, I started to outline what will essentially be our 5th crop field. Not the grass field that we made in the last episode. You can see it in the distance there. And with that field, I tried to imagine how much further out we're going to extend the other 3 on that side of the field. And tried to kind of figure out, you know, really where they were going to go to. So this field over here on the left that's been outlined is much longer than the other 3 that currently have crops in it next to it. If that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. I think it does, but... So I've already got the drill out over here. I'm actually going to have to move the drill. I want to keep these 2 pallets over here kind of in the middle of the open next to each other because they're going to probably be filled completely, I would think, by the time we're done with this field. Now, there are some things we could put in the ground today. However, it would require us to have a planter, which we do not currently have. We also need to get a bucket to move that salt. I have not done that yet. We will be doing that today in today's episode. A couple other notes. We've got a good amount of silage in here. Like I just showed you, I sold about 8,000, but we've got 45,000 liters here, so that's going to be a big help. We also have 2 pallets here. One is the normal fine salt we've been getting. The other is our flour of salt, which is worth a lot of money, as I've showed you. Now, we're not going to sell that flour of salt, and we probably aren't going to sell that other pallet of salt right now because... I think for the time being, we are okay. We are okay on money, so I'm not going to sell that until it's a little bit better off. Now the fine salt it really doesn't fluctuate that much. I've showed that to you, but the flour salt does, and so we'll utilize that fine salt if we need the money, if we get into dire straits. But I think we should be okay. I also have the plow sitting over there because we are going to finish up the rest of that today. It's obviously going to take a few seconds to do that, but we are going to finish that up today as well. And we are now at a point where we don't have a whole lot left on our piece of land to do anything with. We've got this section over here, which we talked about maybe putting in a smaller field or, you know, until we get some more productions. This kind of shows you how much further this extended out. It's not a huge extension, but it is an extension nonetheless, so we can probably bring the rest of this track down here towards the end, and then come back over here probably and connect up this way. We still haven't baked the track going this way either. I probably am going to put something in here. Might change my mind on it, though. I don't really know how much we're going to be driving down here, at least until we put some kind of production or something down here. There's a high probability that this area right here is flat, about as flat as our normal yard is right now. So there's a high probability at some point this will be a production here. And maybe one here on the corner. The corners seem to be relatively flat, except for up here. These 2 corners are not. So they won't have anything on them at all. Actually, nothing will be on this side of the hill, I guess, up here. This is literally not going to probably change at all for the rest of the series. But everything else, fair game. It's probably going to change. All right, good. So we can go ahead and get lined up here and get started on this field. How's everybody doing? Did I ask you that already? If I did, sorry. If I didn't, I ask you now. Hopefully you're doing well. Things are good here, man. This series is chugging along. I'm really, really happy with the progress we've made here. I'm really happy with how it's, you know, how the actual yard and the fields and the farm and everything are turning out here, too. I'm really, really happy with it. Now, one thing I think we're going to do, we're going to put down, I don't know if it'll be in this episode. It probably won't be in this episode, but soon enough, whenever one of our, either our wheat or our barley or oat or whatever it decides to be, I did not want to put that on a worker. I wanted to go into here. Thank you very much. All right, perfect. Now I can talk to you now that I'm on steering assist. We're probably going to put down some chickens. I think it just makes a lot of sense for us to put down chickens. That's eggs are a pretty big money maker, right? And I think that's going to be better off for us to be able to just put the crop into an egg pen and or a chicken pen, I guess I should say, and make eggs, right? And then sell the eggs outright that way. I think that's the way to go about it. So that's what we're going to attempt to do here whenever that time comes. Now, if you recall, this is a wheat field, this is a barley field, and this is an oat field. So we do have a couple of things that can be given to the chickens, specifically the wheat and the oats, I think, are what they, or maybe it's the wheat and barley. Now I'm blanking on what they want. But anyway, one of the two. And my vision, at least for now, until something else comes out, is to maybe utilize one of these. I've utilized this one before, but I really, really like it. I just think it takes up too much space because you have to go one on each side, right? If that makes sense. There, you have to basically drop the crop off on one end, and then it spawns the pallets on the other end. I really think we need one that does on both the same side. That way I can kind of like, I don't know, push it up against another building and, you know, utilize the most of our space as possible, right? So here you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You got to drop the food or the wheat or whatever it is you want to put in there on the left side, but then the pallets spawn on the right. We really need something, you know, maybe like, well, this is still kind of the same, but it's a little bit better, right? Because it's not, it's on the ends instead of it being on the, well, I don't even know how to describe that. You get what I mean, hopefully. I don't know how to describe that without probably confusing you, but you get what I mean as far as where the spawn points are. It would be in a situation where I could put it up against something. One of the walls, at least, could be up against something, and we'd still be able to utilize it to its fullest extent. Now, I thought about coming back through here and trying to touch up some of this area, but the more I thought about it, at least for the time being, this is going to be a grass field anyway. Does it really matter? No, because we're still probably going to mow up this excess weeded up grass anyway, so why even spend the time trying to clean that up right now? Just get it in the ground and we can go from there. I will admit I did expand it ever so slightly. I'm not sure if you noticed it or not. Probably didn't, but I did expand it a little bit. Over on that area over there, it kind of got expanded out a little bit further. After looking at the map a little bit closer, we clearly were wasting some space there, and I didn't really want to do that, so. So for now, there's not a whole lot really out here chicken-wise that we can get, but one of these two is probably where we're going to go with, unless I find something better on ModHub. Now, I could go with this open-air one. I don't really want to, though. I really like this one. It's just so expensive. So, yeah. Probably going to be one of these two, because they're, you know, not super outrageously expensive, and at least at the time being for now, we can afford that. Now, the other problem is going to be is when it does become time to start harvesting all these fields, we're going to harvest them, but we're not really probably going to want to sell that right then and there, if at all possible, right? We're going to want to find or buy some kind of a silo. So we can store it and sell it when it's best to sell it, because we are playing on hard difficulty, so we're not going to get a ton of money by just selling harvests outright. So the more productions and implements we can utilize, the better. Really, we probably want to try the smaller fashion stuff, but I don't want to utilize the vanilla small stuff. That is just too slow for me. So if we're going to use a production, it has to be a mod, but in a small footprint, if you will. We really don't have the room for big footprints. That takes up too much space, right? Now, we are going to go sell all of that silage today, so that's going to provide us with a good chunk of change. We're going to probably look into silos here in a little bit, too. I might have to go on ModHub and find some other silos. I don't think I have too many silos that are inexpensive, small. I think most of the stuff I have is pretty expensive as far as silos go. I don't want to be super unrealistic with the silos either, right? It's a fermenting silo. I guess we have these. These are still a little pricey, but they're not terrible. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at somewhere in the $30-ish, $40,000 range, and we're nowhere near that. We're not going to be anywhere near that for a while. I mean, a long while. It's going to be a long, long time before we even see that kind of money. The changes they've made to the updates they've made to the game, and I'm not sure that I think they're better. So it would normally beep whenever you would turn on the steering assist. Maybe not everybody liked that. I actually liked it, so I knew when something was going to be, when something was on versus not, and when it was getting to a point where it was going to, be crossing over another area. But they seem to have turned that off unless I just did something wrong. Let's do a quick autosave here. Let's pull up the menu and make sure that I didn't accidentally turn something off. I don't think I did. That would be under general settings, wouldn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Deactivate lane, steering assist, I didn't do anything. So I don't know, gang. They've been making changes, and it doesn't really, to me, feel like it was for the better. At least I'm not seeing a whole lot that was making things better. So as you can see, we are already chewing through that solid fertilizer, so we definitely need to get a pallet. I think we only had 30-something%, I think, when we started to fill it up, so we would have been pretty much empty at this point, and we are still doing headland passes. We haven't even started on the up and downs. Now this pass coming up should be the last one. I think it was 4. Right? 1, 2, 4. Yeah, 4. What do you guys think? What are you thinking of the yard? You liking the way that I've got things set up so far? I'm pretty happy with it. What I was considering doing, now it's going to require us to have a little bit more money to do so, which we do not currently have, but I was considering attempting what my friend Northern Farm Sim, he's a friend of the channel, and check him out if you haven't done so. I mentioned this a couple of episodes ago, but he got this from somebody. I'm not sure who he got it from, but making kind of like a tree farm, that might be a thing to do there in that area that we're not really sure what to do with for now. Trees can make us a lot of money, so maybe we do a makeshift tree farm of some sort. It would make a lot of sense putting that there. It's near the the farmers market anyway, right? So in the Christmas time I say, I don't know for sure if we're able to get pine trees to plant or evergreen trees to plant or not, but that's kind of what I would envision, right? Making some kind of a Christmas tree farm. So that way, the farm itself, because we're a small farm, we can make some money in the winter, too. Now, this is all just, you know, utilizing your imagination, but I think you get what I'm trying to get to here. I think that would be a fun little addition. I just don't know if we're going to be able to do that. I feel like it's just, I don't really think there's a choice of trees you can do, unless you're doing poplar. Obviously, that's a different tree, but I don't know. I could be wrong on that statement. I'll have to research it a little bit more. I did plant some trees in FS22, but I never have. Oh, well, I never have. I haven't done it yet here. Let me get turned around here. We'll look in the menu for a little bit longer here. Now, I think we could just do our traditional up and downs now. Okay. I don't know what you're doing there, worker, but... Where I say worker. Seriousness. Let me turn on the lines here. I'm going to see what am I doing wrong here. Show lines on. Oh, they want me to go that way. Okay. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It does look like it's better that way. I think in the last episode we went the other way with the plowing, but it does look like this probably is smarter to go this way. Okay. So, let's see. Forestry. Here we go. Saplings. Tree saplings. Yeah, all we have is tree saplings. It doesn't really tell you what kind of tree it is, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just poplar and tree saplings. So my assumption is it's going to be... Oops, sorry, gang, hit the microphone there. My assumption it's going to be something like these. Let me find them in here. I mean, I guess we could just plant them outright, but I'd rather actually do it. I guess these are pine trees. I mean, maybe this is what it will make. I don't know. But that's not really an evergreen. That's not really a Christmas tree, right? I don't think any of these really are Christmas trees, so maybe ignore that statement altogether. Yeah, none of these trees that are a vanilla base game. Maybe there's some other trees I can download, but that wouldn't really do the effect of what I want, right? I want to actually plant them myself and let them grow over time instead of just, you know, putting them down in an actual growth stage they're already in. I don't know. Just some thoughts to think about. Oh, here we go. I'm going the wrong way again. Something to think about as we move along, I guess. So we got a long way to go here before we're done with this, so let's go ahead and get started here, gang. And, well, get started. We've already started, but let's get this going. Let's get this field done. And I don't know why we're going down a weird angle now, too. What is going on right now? Why are we doing such weird angles here? What is happening? Okay, I'm just going to do this one myself and then hopefully try to realign when we get down here. We might have to go over a portion of it, I guess. Again. Being a little weird, a little finicky here with the GPS for some reason. Anyway, let's get started here. We'll get it done. And we'll see where we're at and what we're going to do next after that. Yeah, that's fine. We're going over it a little bit extra, but that's fine. right, we are done. Field is drilled. And we almost ran out of fertilizer again. We had 6% left, 81 liters to be exact. So we absolutely will be able to fill the rest of this in here, which is good. It means we'll be able to get rid of those pallets just sitting out there in the open, kind of looking tacky, right? So we'll do that. I'm going to run up to the shop. We're going to grab a bucket, and we're going to see if we can move some of that coarse salt around. I guess I'm not going to get rid of all of the seed. I really thought that was going to take the rest of the seed, but 237 liters still in seed in there. Wow, okay. Well, I stand corrected then, I guess. So let's kind of back this up in its makeshift spot for the time being. I did spend a little bit more money trying to make this look a little bit better. I don't know if I accomplished the goal there or not, but I'm happy with it. So we're going to keep it at that. So let's head up to the shop there. We'll grab the bucket and try to move this salt around. All right, we are on our way back here, gang. We've got this nice little tiny bucket here. It doesn't hold a whole lot. I think it's like 400 or maybe 500 liters, something like that. It will do the trick. That's what we need, and it didn't cost me a ton of money. It was like $400, something like that. So it was reasonably priced, in considering some of the other buckets that are out there. That the vanilla bucket, I think it's 1,200 liters or something like that. I don't remember the exact amount, but it's like $3,000. So all things considered, I will take that any day of the week. So we're gonna move this pallet of sheep wool out of the way because it's just kind of in the way. So we're gonna move it, and that doesn't mean it's gonna spawn another pallet at some point, but that's fine. Let's open up this. I'm gonna move it over here for right now. We'll probably just go ahead and sell it outright today. The price should still be relatively decent. I think technically May might be the best time to sell it, now that I think about that. Because I think we sold whatever we had in the last episode because the price was as good or better than what the average best price is, so it's probably still going to be sold today no matter what. Hopefully this works. I didn't test this out. I probably should have, but hopefully this works. It does work. And it's moving everything in there, which is what I wanted to do anyway. Not going to really probably be able to get the whole tractor in there. I don't want to, push it too far back because then we're going to have some issues, but if I can move just a little bit more of this backwards. I think that's going to have to be as good as it's going to get. It's still going to be sticking out a little bit, I think. Yeah, but it's still significantly better. Significantly better. And that looks a lot more realistic, too. Alright, so now we've got two implements here. I don't really know what else we're going to do with this bucket besides a point when we can actually move that and do something with it. So I guess for now I'm just going to put the bucket here. I don't really know where to put it. This seems like an area that's probably not going to really be utilized a whole lot, so we'll stick it there for now. It's a good thing we were able to find that cheaper bucket on ModHub, too. If we weren't able to find that one, we probably would have just left the salt out there in the weather. Let's go sell this. Now, I was considering what I want to do over here. So the field needs lime. We don't have any lime yet. We've got a sprayer that will allow us to put lime down, or spreader rather, that allows us to put lime down. It would require us to get quite a number of pallets of lime, though, I think. To bring it back here. So this field itself, all the fields really, but this is the first time we've actually had some money maybe to play with here. They need lime and they need rolling. They also have the rocks to get out of the way. Now the rocks, I don't really think there's an easy way to get rid of the rocks. I might be able to use the bucket that we just got and try to pick up some of those rocks, but I've done that in the past. I might have mentioned this already, and if I did, just bear with me. I apologize. But I've done that in the past in FS22. and I absolutely hated it. It was miserable. It took an absolute eternity. So I don't think I want to attempt that in FS25 unless something's changed. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know if something has changed. I doubt it. So we'll get started here, getting the rest of this field done. This is only going to be a couple passes and we'll be done with this. Now really what I would like to put in here is something like a corn or a sorghum or, you know, something like that. But we need a planter for that. Planters are not cheap. The cheapest one out there is the old antique one. It has like a 2-meter width. Now, I'm not 100% against that, but I feel like this field is a little bit too big for that width. I think we need somewhere around the 4 meters, 3.5, 4 meters. I think 2 meters is a very, very, very small one, and we would be segregated to utilizing only the smallest of fields with that one, right? And while our fields are not necessarily what I would call big, they are bigger than what a 2-meter width cedar should probably be doing, right? So I think we'll pass on the planter, at least for the time being. I think we're just going to stick with what we have, the drill, the cedar we have, until we're able to actually start making a little bit more money. Probably going to have to give my tractor a service here soon, which is not going to be cheap. We might want to consider looking for a cheaper mod that we can put near the barn and kind of fix up our equipment without having to pay the extra fee to, you know, have the shop do it for us. So we might look into that and add one of those down here. All right, so we're on the final strip here, so we'll get down here to the end and we can go put this away. I'm not going to work on making the little tiny field here yet. I want to see about potentially putting down that chicken coop and how much room it takes, right? I don't want to plow up a field and then have to repaint around an area where we're going to put some of the chicken coop at. So, so let's put this away. We'll see what else we can get into today. All right, let's start selling the silage here. We'll start making the multiple trips it's going to take us to do that. The rain has started, which is going to not bode well if we decided we wanted to do anything in that field. We would start getting stuck a little bit, so that's not the most ideal situation for us, unfortunately. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Why are we not able to unload the silage in here now? Is it just something I had wrong in the actual trailer? Is that all it was with the coarse salt too? That's not good. That is not good at all. What happened? Why was it working? Why did it work with the wool just now? Why is it not working with the silage? What did I do here? Did I turn something off? Let's just sell wood. What is happening here? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I didn't need the bucket. Maybe it wasn't maybe it's just the actual shop. Is there an update or something that was done that I'm not aware of? And now it doesn't work? I have this same thing put down in the survival challenge that we're running. I haven't run into that issue yet, but I really haven't dropped anything besides pallets there lately. Oh boy. I don't know what to do here. Right, well, I did a little bit of land manipulation here, and it seemed to fix it. So I don't know if there was an update that happened or what, but it's not going to be perfect. I guess it'll do the trick for now, right? As long as we're able to sell it, then I guess I'll be happy. But now it begs the question if that was the only problem with selling the salt. If it was, then we kind of wasted some money on that bucket, right? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Let's continue here trying to unload all the silage and going and selling it, and then maybe we'll attempt to load the salt into the back of this and see if it'll sell it now. And see if it was just simply an issue with some kind of an update or something that happened where the ground rose above the actual trigger point. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. If this works, then I'll be so upset that there's some kind of, I don't know, rendering issue, glitch, change, something like that. Yeah, look, there it is. It's allowed me to dump it. That's so weird, man. That is so weird. Well, we wasted money on that bucket. Maybe we'll find a use for it later on. I'm not going to get rid of it just yet because it wasn't really that expensive anyway. But man, that is frustrating. That is really, really frustrating. Huh. Okay, well, you might be asking yourself, where'd that other pallet of fertilizer come from, Z? Well, it was in our fertilizer spreader that we had in here. I decided to bring it out here and unload it just because we haven't really utilized that fertilizer spreader, and we're not going to be utilizing it for a little while, so that way we have some more we can put into the drill when the time comes. Now, what I would like to do, honestly, we have enough right now where we could buy the harvester and the header, but again, I'm going to wait on it just in case the very, very slim chance we get it in the used market before we need it. I'm going to wait. It probably won't happen, and I never get that lucky, but just in case, I'm going to hold off, because the way that my luck normally works is I would buy it right now, and then the next month it actually is out there. So we're going to hold off just to make sure. I want to put down a shed here. Now, I'm planning to put this one down. There's a reason why I'm putting this one down, mostly because our cedar can fit underneath there, which would be great. We also can put these two pallets underneath with it. Keep them basically out of the weather, right? These really shouldn't be out where they are right now, so we can kind of keep them out of the weather that way. The grass bales really shouldn't be where they are either, honestly, in the rain, but neither should these either. But you get the point, right? We're going to at least start to try to make that be a little bit more realistic. I'm thinking about putting it here. Now, the reason why I'm thinking about putting it here is because I envision this whole section here really just being yard area for right now. Really all the way up to here, honestly. Now, we kind of painted this area. We might paint over top of it, but that's all right. It's kind of just giving us a, an idea, a ballpark idea of where things are going to be. I'm going to put it kind of in line here with our field that we just recently drilled, the grass field. I am going to turn on the free mode, so it might sink a little bit, but it should be okay, hopefully. And you know what? As a matter of fact, before we do that, let me just save the game. I don't want to crash. Well, I've heard all kinds of horror stories of things crashing, and I mean, this was already an issue, right? So if that's an issue, who knows what could happen next? Let's see. So we want to kind of keep it close, but we want it to be slightly far enough away where we're able to still maneuver around on this field, right? That's going to be a problem if we have it too close. It might be too close now, but I'm going to go with it. Free mode on. 2,500. All right, let's go see how it looks. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And now I mean, if rain's coming sideways, obviously it's not going to really help, but it is going to protect it for the most part from the elements, and that's really what we want, right? Because right now our cedar is just sitting outside and taking the brunt of all weather. So if we're able to clean that up a little bit and make it, you know, look a little bit better, then I'm happy with it. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll do some of this off camera, I think, but I'm just going to extend the lower layer, the bottom layer, I guess, of our yard here up to here. Might have went a little bit too far there, but that's all right. We can gloss over that. Now, we'll need to come back through here, like I said, maybe off camera and kind of try to make it look a little bit like this. I want the whole yard area to kind of look like that. I want it to be kind of in unison, if you will. May not do it all right now, but I'm going to at least get this section done with the base paint, the base gravel, the base concrete, whatever. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Obviously, it is kind of sunk a little bit over here. But I think that's relatively realistic, too, based off of the hill, right? Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and unhook this. Let's go grab the cedar. We'll go put the cedar in there, and it should have enough room, in theory, for us to be able to put the salt, or the seeds and the fertilizer in there with it. Now, granted, the fertilizer is actually just going to go all right into the drill right now because we've got enough room for it, but the seed does not. Perfect. Yeah, this is going to fit in there nicely. I'm not positive there's actually going to be any room for the seeds now that I'm looking at this. There won't be. But that's okay. It was a little pricey, right? We spent $2,500 on it. But I think it was worth it. I mean, to get a little bit better at backing this thing in here. That'll work. Even if I got this all the way to the edge, I don't think it would have mattered. Now, what I could, I guess, potentially do... Maybe I should do that. Hold the phone. Hold the thought. If I put the seed behind the drill, it should still have enough room for the drill to go in there. I think it's a large enough shed that it can still cover up the basic points of that drill itself. I think it'll work. Yeah, this is going to work. This is going to work. There's enough room for sure. And that way, whenever we're done doing a seeding or drilling or whatever, we back this back up there. There's already, you know, what we need to be able to fill this thing back up. Yeah, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Great. I love it. All right, we're going to leave the episode at that point, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would greatly appreciate it if you smashed the like and subscribe button for me. Doing both of those things helps me out more than you can possibly imagine. You want to become a member, links down below in the description. Get early access to videos like this one, including the members-only series, among other items. Discord's down there. Everything you need, as I always mention, it's all down in the description for you to check out if you are interested. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.